In today's video, we're going to be looking into Iron Man and Captain Marvel in Omega War and Alliance Omega War, respectively. My giveaway is finished. I have reached out to the two winners, and hopefully you win next time. Let's get into it. So starting off with Iron Man, I have two major builds with him. I think a lot of these characters can be put into two, maybe even three builds, depending on how versatile their abilities are. First, we're going to go over what I call the killer build. You're chasing the point leader, and you're going to get that particular kill. You're going for that one guy. And the second build is going to be I just want to bomb stuff. That second build is high guard break, high AoE. You're just nuking everybody. Let's jump right into the first one. We start with extra firepower, guided missiles. As you would expect, this is one of his better moves. Big damage. Then we have Nanite Plasma Spin Blades. Pretty good. Does good damage. And it'll let you jump to 2 or 3 targets. Next we got a Speed Amp. This is interesting ability. So it lowers all their cooldowns by whatever the percentage is. If you have Sakar, it goes up. But mine is 38%. And that's not from what's left, that's from the total. So if from guided missiles has 9.3, and I immediately, it's down to 8 or 7 seconds by the time I click speed amplification. Instead of reducing it from the 7 seconds, it reduces it from 9 seconds. Next we go into arc energy, repulsor charge, roll just quick damage. And then last but not least, we have Unibeam. The last two abilities aren't really there to actually click. If you're on cooldowns, Repulsor Charge is a good ability to use. Maybe once in a while you'll end up using Vocal Energy Shot if they're all lined up. That can be powerful. But primarily you're going to be using Extra Firepower, Spin Blade, and Speed Amp. With good enough cooldown reduction, you'll be able to go Extra Firepower, Guided Missiles into Spin Blade, followed by Guided Missiles, followed by Speed Amplification, back into Guided Missiles, Spin Blade, and Guided Missiles. Very nasty, and if you're on a single target, even if they have all three dodges up, you're going to hit them with something, right? The reason why these last two are here are because they're repulsor energy. That will make sense once we get into specializations. As for the bombing style, I think this is one of the cooler ways to play them, not as copy-paste. The other one, you probably see most players play it because it does do really well, but this is another one that is just more fun. Instead of guided missiles, we're doing precision bombing. This puts you off the map, so it's unless people are good at figuring out targeting, this doesn't do as much as the other ability, guided missiles, but it does a good swath of like across the board of damage, and also has high guard break, which will be important later on. Next, we're going to go into Tactical Satellite Ion Cannon. This comes down 3 times, does great damage, and is high guard break. The secondary option here is Party Time Protocol, as you summon 2 bots that will hit people in range. We'll see in just a second. We are using speed amplification again. With enough cooldown, you can go Ion Cannon into Speed Amp into Ion Cannon. You have 50%. If you have 50% cooldown, that makes this 20 and a half seconds, and then you take 40% off of 41. That only leaves you with 10% of 40 seconds left, which is not much at all. We're going to use Spin Blades just because it is AoE, it is medium guard break, it's bleed, It does everything we want it to do. And last for this one, we are using EMP shot. It has high guard break. It pushes you backwards, meaning you can use it to dodge stuff, as well as it swipes all their positive effects off and slows them. What's interesting is positive effects does include things like Captain America's shield, the barrier he gives to everybody, Ultron barrier, things like that just get wiped off even if this doesn't do enough damage to kill it. Next, let's get into the specializations for both modes. Alright, first we're going to start with the same one we did before, the single target killing build. You're chasing the point leader, you're just trying to get them. We're going to lead into the repulsor amplification. This is why the last two abilities are repulsor energy class skills, because this will give us 12% bonus damage on all of our skills. Both builds will be using overclock, 30% stamina, but 30% damage. That's just percentage on percentage on percentage. We're also going to lean into weakness analysis for 30% more damage on targets that are bleeding or burned. Our primary bleed will be spin blades. And then if you have stamina issues, energy recycling is great. If not, I would lean into algorithm improvement, reducing your cooldowns when you use a Jarvis class skill, meaning so what we talked about before, 40-second cooldown, speed amp, and then this triggers based off of things like that, making that 10% left an instant. So it's a 20-second cooldown, but it's a cooldown for 10 seconds, so 50% of the time you're just having bam, bam, bam. And as you see, at 2 out of 10, I'm at 5%, which is huge. Going into the bombing style, we lean kind of into up here, multi-memory. Increase guard damage by 10% for each weapon cartridge class skill. We have 3, so all of them have 30%. So you will have 30% guard damage on top. And all of your skills are high guard break damage. I believe there's one medium, but with speed amp, you're just rushing through the abilities. We are definitely going to go into weakness analysis because we have the bleed from spin blades, but we also have the burn from precision bombing. Of course, we're going to go into overclock for stamina. And as I said, if you have stamina issues, energy recycling is great. You can go into anti-armor bullets. I like to naturally have my armor penetration already. And the last one, where's it at? That supervillain, the algorithm of improvement. Because we have 2 of them on our board with ion cannon or party time protocol, you can almost always have this up with that 40 to 42 second cooldowns on the 2 options. You can ion cannon, speed amp, ion cannon, having 6 cannons coming down, or you can party time protocol, speed amp, party time protocol, having 4 bots on the board. I've tried to hit 6. I have 44% cooldown myself. If I get this up, I might, if I use, get myself up to 50% cooldown and have this at 10 out of 10, I might be able to get 6 on the board, but that's a pipe dream. Next, let's get into cards. So for cards, it's kind of the same across the board. Crit rate, crit damage, cooldown. Cooldown is more important in the second build than the first build. The first build, you're using guided missiles, which naturally has a super low cooldown. But if it's lower, may as well have it, right? You want defense, pierce, crit damage, such as over here, set 5. Where's it at? Crossbones card and Captain America card. Set 6, you have Loki and Thor 2012. But going on into the second build, it does lean into some guard damage. So you can lean into right here. Where's it at? Set 9, I believe. Yeah, set 9, Avengers 2016, and set 11, Kingpin. You can always go into set 11 crit rate as well to cap that off. Ultimate Gauge isn't going to help you much. In Omega War specifically, people are doing a bunch of AoE, so there's going to be a lot of random attacks coming your way. So leaning into a two-piece set 8 isn't terrible here. Letting you go into Defense Pierce. Defense Pierce, one of the two attack ones, isn't terrible. Next, we're going to go into Companions. So Companions is going to be dependent on what kind of playstyle you want to go towards. If you're a point carrier, Ultron is great. I tend to be a point carrier in my games, so as you see, Ultron is equipped. I have Daredevil and Nick Fury right there on the side, as their 5-star bonus is accuracy, something that I myself wanted. If you're in Alliance Omega War, Vision can be good. As you see, guard damage decrease, range damage decrease. You're taking less damage. His skill gives your team damage reduction. You have Athena. You give your team damage buff. You have Cersei, reduces their defense. In the second option, the kind of guard break build of just putting down bombs, Gilgamesh and War Machine can definitely do a good job. A couple shout outs if you're having stamina issues. Just the collection bonus on Kaya here is stamina. On the second build, a Scrag for guard damage will definitely help you out a little bit. Donna, her 5-star bonus is stamina recovery. So if you're having stamina issues, just having her on your 3 bottom slots will be beneficial. Last but not least, let's go into costumes. As for the costumes, we have Magardia, which is crit rate, weapon cartridge, or down here Hydra, which is defense pierce weapon cartridge. If you would like to lean into the cooldown spec, and if you have some cooldown issues, Kigerr can be an interesting one here, as leveling up the Jarvis class skills make speed amp reduce greater. I believe it goes to 43% with Kigerr. 43% off of the max, meaning if you have innate cooldown, it stacks on top of each other, which is ridiculous, right? So you can either go for damage or just spamming more abilities, up to you. Next, for non-regionals, you have Fear itself for damage. This is good on both builds. If you're doing precision bombing or guided missiles, it's still going to be really good. And on what I just said a second ago for Speed Amp, Mark 1 is increases artificial intelligence, which is Speed Amp. Just to touch on the Kigerr one more time, the Jarvis class skills also includes in the second build Party Time Protocol or Ion Cannon. Next, let's go on to the next character. Going on into Captain Marvel, she still has issues, obviously, because of the balance adjustments. Hopefully, there are some changes soon. I feel like the 10 seconds, if they brought down to 6 seconds, should be a lot stronger, and we'd see people playing her more often. But what is currently working is kind of the old style, but just slower. So as you'll see, we start with Mighty Flight, Light Speed Dash, High Guard Break, Light Speed Movement, Quick In and Out Hit. Next, we have the normal Photon Flight Faster, Untargetable, not iframe, back and forth. This you're not really using for damage anymore. Before, you could use this offensively. Now it's more of a defensive skill. You use this when you're trying to reset, wait for cooldowns, and go back in. And if someone continues to chase you, you hold off on this skill, waiting to fade a flash grenade, sticky bomb, things like that. Next, we have Photon Booster Focal Energy Shot. This is, point, click, and forget about it. You can still animation cancel this, similar to the guided missiles and web shooter. The window of time is a little bit less than the other two, but it can be done. Make it almost instant and invisible. I don't recommend doing that. I'm not a fan of that, but it's a thing that you can be doing. Next, we go into Energy Impact Cosmic Recharge. This is light speed movement as well, so we get three of them. You jump in, you get ultimate gauge. At base, you get ultimate every three of these. You want to get it at every two at least. You just jump in, and then this pairs really nicely with the initial Mighty Flight because you jump in and then do the quick punch. Last but not least, we have Photon Blast, Photon Focus. And what's interesting about this skill is there's three waves of it. You have the small, medium, and large. So between the three phases, it also retargets. So if for whatever reason the initial target goes invisible, invulnerable, or dies during the first charge, she will find a new target within range for the second charge, and in between the second and the third, the same thing, meaning this is effectively 3 attacks in one. Pretty great skill. Next, let's go into what we're using for specializations. And like I said, we're mostly using what we used before, we're just taking it slower. We're still going to use the 20% attack if the combat goes more than 6 seconds. We're still using the two dodge abilities, light speed cooldown, and dodge they're both every 10 seconds, but in Dimension Duel, the longest possible time in Dimension Duel is a minute and a half, well, a little over a minute. And there's not as many opportunities in a 1v1 to wait the 10 seconds, whereas when you're in the group fight situation, be it Omega War or Alliance War, you're able to take advantage of the 10-second, not take advantage of the 10-second cooldown, but you're able to use these intermediately between the 10-second cooldowns, weave them into your rotation, and just have them going. This does require a little bit more hands-on experience on Captain Marvel to, remember, okay, I'm at 7 seconds. If I can hold out for 2 to 3 more seconds, then I can use an active dodge, followed by a lightspeed skill, which will let me get 40% of a dodge back as well as reduce my cooldowns. So just weave it into your play style. So that's 3, and the last one is binary power energy conversion. 50% ultimate gauge recovery when you're above 50% HP. Really great. If you would like to, you can cut dodge prediction and then go towards, where is it at? Here it is. Increase duration of self-granted buffs. That includes the 20% attack by 35%, as well as the stats from your ultimate. Next, let's go into Omega cards. So with Omega cards, first and foremost, you're going to want defense, pierce, crit rate, crit damage. But what's interesting is Captain Marvel likes to brawl, right? She likes to be in there in the thick of it. So what's interesting is you can do a full set 6. I don't recommend this for many characters, but Captain Marvel can get stuff out of this, such as the defense and HP here. And if you do go this direction, I did not mention it during the abilities, but you can go towards the skill that gives you 46% more defense for 10 seconds. Also, going with the last specialization we just talked about, increasing that duration, letting you have the defense buff longer. If you go full set 6 with some defense and HP, the 46% on top of that just scales not astronomically, but it does go up exponentially. There you go. Obviously, as you all know, I enjoy crit rate right here, defense pierce. I almost must on Captain Marvel is the Maestro card, Ultimate Gauge Recovery. It's a little upsetting this went to Dark Zone exclusive. Well, you can open it in pools in 10Xs and stuff, but you can't get this out in the wild. You have to get it in Dark Zone. Next, let's go into companions. For companions, if you're the point leader, Ultron is always great, especially if you go into what we just talked about, HP and defense. He takes advantage of more HP as well. In a group setting, as I've talked about before, Athena, Cersei, and Vision are great AoE people, but if you really want to focus in on what Captain Marvel is good at and just go for that kill, something like Daredevil, Yondu, and Gilgamesh are great options. I'm sure you've seen in Dimension Duel the build we did before, link will be down below, but also in Omega War you have a good thing of dropping Gilgamesh in a group and then going for the beam, focal energy shot, and just go for the beam. Let you get at least to the second charge for free. Because he does a half-second automatic stun. That's enough time for you to go through the first phase, and then you're on to the medium, and then they have to burn a dodge, and then the strong one is still coming at them already. Last but not least, let's get into costumes. For Captain Marvel, you have 3 regional options. You have Magardia and Dark Domain that does cosmic energy. One does defense pierce, the other does crit rate. Your third option being New Stark City for the ultimate. She's one of the only characters that likes increasing the ultimate. If you do choose New Stark City, you want to lean into that 35% duration on self-granted buffs specialization. This will make all your buffs from your ultimate last longer. There's a good opportunity that if you have your ultimate gauge high enough, ultimate recovery high enough, you can be running into your next ultimate while still having buffs from your last ultimate up. On to non-regional options. Carol Core is really the one you want to go towards. Photon Energy skill, Photon Blast skill is the beam that's your biggest damage skill. The one that's the 3-in-1. One low, medium, large. It just does almost 4,000% damage, I believe, just from this bonus right here. Let me know in the comment section down below what you're doing differently, if you think I missed something, and tomorrow's the big patch, so till next time, guys.